Shortly after the Civil War ended, some 4 million slaves were set free, and they would not have had any place to stay, any place to sleep, or any food to eat had it not been for the concept of the Freedmen's Bureau.
It was a very scary thing for the freedmen at that time because there was no sense of protection.
They're working sometimes for the same person who had enslaved them, who was not excited about paying money to the same people whose labor he had had for free for decades. That was an adjustment, and that brought about the need for someone to intervene and to be a go-between between former slaveholder and those once enslaved.
The government felt that they needed to bring some order to this chaos, and in that process created the Freedmen's Bureau.
His primary mission was to assist the former slaves in making this transition from slavery to freedom.
It provided them an opportunity to get work permits, to find work, started schools called Freedmen Schools. What became even more important for us now was that they not only asked them their individual names, but they asked them questions about their background, who they had been slaves with, who their parents were, who their spouses were, who their children were, where they were born.
One could argue that the Freedmen's Bureau records are some of the most valuable records to study the African American family.
It makes a difference to know where you come from and who you come from, because when you know where you're coming from, then you can design where you are going.
I had a conversation with a friend and he said, black genealogy is not fun. You can't find anything. I'm a novice when it comes to family history research, but I've hit that wall, that time period where there's no documentation of your family anymore.
The African American community through slavery was split up, divided. Families were torn apart. We don't know who our family really is or from where we originated.
African Americans get back to 1870 and they can't go beyond that. So you'll hear a lot of African Americans say, the records don't exist because of slavery, or I can't find my family tree, or should I give up?
As African Americans, everything has been said, oh, there are no records. We don't have any history. We can't document anything. Well, it turns out that's not true.
The Freedmen's Bureau project is really designed to take records and actually make them searchable online for individuals trying to research African American family history in the United States.
There were well over 1 million documents in those records. So we're talking about a lot of material, a lot of stories, and if we don't digitize them and index them, nobody's gonna know.
We need to make these records available to everyone. We need everyone's help to make these records available to everyone, because they will provide a window to identify your family in their records and to move back into that pre-1865 time period.
We have to go back to the past in order to understand the future. It helps us understand, why do I do what I do? Why do I act like this? Why do I feel this way?
Being able to say, I know where I came from. It's a sense of identity. It's looking at that ancestor and saying, look at them, they survived. It's because of what they did, I'm here today.
If they made it through, then I can too. My future can become bright. I don't have to be stuck in the past, but I need to know the past so that I can get through my future and make a better life for me.
Everything that we are is because of them. It is vitally important to know that you're here for a reason.
This is a chance for us to learn our story and then tell it to the world in a way that it has not been told before.
Those records that are not indexed can make that connection between a former slave and their master, which is the critical connection that African Americans need to do slave ancestral research.
To have this information on index where you could type in your ancestor's name and that name can come up and that document can come up, it means so much.
The project is to really solicit volunteers from around the country to help us actually transcribe these records and make them searchable so individuals like myself can find our own families in these records.
Why not participate in this project to make it easier for not only you, but future generations to find this information and really tell and create that story about their family history?
We're helping to rebuild or reconnect to our ancestors, so we all need help. And you can help and provide that help by getting involved with the project.
Get involved with this project. It's worth it. It's worth all the time and energy that it will take to get this project off the ground.